What if I told you that a company once on the brink of bankruptcy now commands over 14% of a massive market, spends $1 billion annually on advertising without breaking a sweat, and has created more wealth for its investors than almost any other business in American history? And this is why Warren Buffett loves this business. What if the foundational strategy behind this unstoppable juggernaut was disruptively simple, that when its competitors finally understood the threat, it was already too late? Welcome to Dynasty Designers, and today we're dissecting the strategic brilliance behind GEICO. Not just another insurance company, but a masterclass in building an incredible competitive advantage. By the end of the episode, you'll walk away with 10 actionable transformative strategies that have generated billions in wealth. Strategies you can immediately apply to your business regardless of industry. You'll learn how to identify untapped preferred risk, customer segments that your competitors are overlooking, how to create a formidable moat that makes your business nearly impossible to challenge, and how to leverage the overlooked financial power of float, potentially the most powerful capital generation tool you're not using. Whether you're scaling a startup, repositioning an established business, or hunting for your next investment opportunity, these battle-tested principles from one of Warren Buffett's most prized acquisitions will give you the strategic edge your ambitions demand. And if Charlie Munger was alive today, this is what he would be doing: studying great businesses and great founders. So, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. So let's start off with number one, the good government gambit. So in 1936, while most insurance companies cast wide nets hoping to catch any customer they could, Leo Goodwin Sr. made a strategic decision that would ultimately revolutionize an entire industry. Instead of pursuing everyone, he laser focused on a single overlooked segment: the U.S. government employees and top-grade non-commissioned military officers. This wasn't just a marketing decision, it was a strategic brilliance. These weren't random demographics, they were meticulously selected preferred risk groups with two crucial characteristics. They had fewer accidents and were remarkably reliable in paying their premiums. Think about the power of this move. While competitors exhausted their resources trying to serve everyone, GEICO identified a segment that was not only more profitable to serve, but could be reached directly without expensive intermediaries. The modern parallel is explosive. Right now, in your market, there exists an underserved preferred risk niche. Customers with specific characteristics that make them dramatically more profitable and efficient to serve than the general population. Your competitors are likely overlooking them. Just as GEICO's rivals did, ask yourself, what customer segment in your industry has a lower service cost, higher lifetime value, or greater loyalty potential that you could exclusively target? This single insight could completely transform your business model overnight. So strategy number two, it's called the Agent Zero principle. What GEICO did next was even more disruptive. In an era where insurance was exclusively sold through commissioned agents, Goodwin made the revolutionary decision to eliminate the middleman entirely. He went direct to consumer decades before it became a business buzzword. This wasn't just cost cutting, it was a complete reinvention of the insurance distribution model. By removing agents, GEICO didn't just save on commissions, they gained direct control over the customer relationship, collected invaluable first-party data, and passed substantial savings to policyholders. Warren Buffett later called this direct model GEICO formidable moat, a competitive advantage so powerful that even decades later, Competitors struggle to replicate it without cannibalizing their existing business. The strategic question for you is clear. Where in your value chain do intermediaries exist who could add cost but limited value? Could you establish a direct connection with your customers that simultaneously reduce costs, improves experience, and creates a data advantage your competitors can't match? Netflix did this to video rental stores. Amazon did this to bookstores and then to create the retail at large. So, what industry standard middleman could you eliminate to create your own unstoppable competitive advantage? So, each lesson I'm going to be going over, if you haven't already noticed, I'm going to be going over on how you can apply the strategy to your current venture, your business, if you have a holdco, if you have a VC firm, whatever it may be. I'm trying to make it as applicable as possible. The premium powerhouse, strategy number 3, beyond its direct model, GEICO mastered something even more valuable: the strategic use of float. This concept alone has generated billions in wealth for Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. Here's how it works. GEICO collects premiums up front, but pays claims later, sometimes much later. This timing difference creates a massive pool of capital that can be invested before claims come due. When managed with disciplined underwriting, this float becomes essentially free capital, or as Warren Buffett describes it, better than free when underwriting profits occur. This isn't unique to insurance, okay? Any business that collects payments before delivering the full service or product has access to float. Software as a service companies, membership businesses, subscription models all generate float that most entrepreneurs completely overlook as a strategic asset. So the question isn't whether you have float, it's whether you're strategically maximizing this hidden source of capital. Are you achieving the operational discipline to make your float better than free, like GEICO does? This single principle has the power to revolutionize your company's financial structure. Strategy number 4, the ubiquity engine. When Berkshire Hathaway took full control of GEICO in 1996, they implemented another game-changing strategy: unprecedented, relentless advertising investment. While competitors carefully measured quarterly ROI on marketing spend, GEICO poured billions into creating ubiquitous brand awareness. They didn't just advertise more, they created cultural icons like the gecko that you see on the screen right now if you're on YouTube, who Warren Buffett proudly noted is now recognized by more Americans than are the members of the president's cabinet. This commitment to massive, consistent brand building created a psychological advantage no competitor could touch. When consumers think car insurance, GEICO comes to mind. The ultimate competitive advantage is in a commodity industry. The application for your business is clear. Instead of a tactical, campaign-based marketing, could you create a brand presence so powerful and consistent that you become synonymous with your category? What memorable brand ambassador or message could you develop that transcends traditional advertising and becomes part of the cultural conversation? Strategy number 5. If you haven't already, subscribe. All right, so strategy number 5 is called the Phoenix Protocol. GEICO's history reveals another critical strategy: the power of decisive turnaround when facing disaster. By the mid-1970s, GEICO had abandoned its disciplined focus on preferred risk and expanded recklessly. The company stood on the brink of bankruptcy. Enter Jack Byrne, who implemented what we might call the Phoenix Protocol, a ruthless return to foundational principles. He dramatically raised rates on unprofitable customers, culled the agency force, and tightening underwriting standards. These painful but necessary moves saved the company and positioned it for its eventual explosive growth. The lesson is unmistakable. When your business faces existential threats, half measures rarely succeed. True turnarounds require decisive action and a willingness to return to your fundamental strengths, even when doing so requires painful short-term sacrifices. My mentor always said, there is never an easy time to make hard decisions. So ask yourself, if your business were failing today, what radical but necessary actions would you take? The answer to that question contains the strategic corrections you should consider implementing now before crisis forces your hand. Strategy number 6, the actuarial ace. As GEICO evolved, it developed another powerful advantage, the ability to use its direct customer relationship to create increasingly sophisticated risk assessment and pricing models. So while competitors relied on agents' general assessments, GEICO used its direct model to gather granular customer data and fine-tune its underwriting criteria with unprecedented precision. Data is key. Like in this day and age, data is crucial. The more data and the right type of data you have, then it's going to help you make better decisions. All right, before I got sidetracked, this allowed them to skim the cream in any market segment, attracting the best risk with lower prices while appropriately pricing or rejecting proper risk. This data advantage created a virtuous cycle. Better data led to better risk assessment, which led to better pricing, which attracted better customers, which generated even better data. It's like a flywheel. The competitive edge became self-reinforcing. The modern application extends far beyond insurance. In your business, how can you leverage direct customer data to segment your market with surgical precision? What information could you collect that would allow you to identify and attract the most profitable customers while appropriately pricing or avoiding unprofitable ones? This data-driven approach to customer selection may be the best single most under-leveraged competitive advantage in business today. Strategy number 7 now. The Fortress GEICO. So, since Berkshire Hathaway acquisition, GEICO has benefited enormously from what we might call the Fortress strategy, the competitive advantage that comes from an unshakable financial strength and a truly long-term perspective. This fortress-like position allows GEICO to make substantial investments that yield results over years, not quarters. When competitors are forced to retrench during industry downturns, GEICO can accelerate its growth and capture market share at bargain prices. So for entrepreneurs, this raises a critical strategic question. How can you build or access financial resources that provide similar stability? Even if you're not backed by Berkshire Hathaway, good strategic partnerships, capital structure decisions, or conservative financial management give you the resilience to capitalize on opportunities when your competitors are vulnerable. In today's increasingly volatile business environment, financial fortress building may be the most underrated strategic advantage you can develop. Lesson number 8. The 15-minute phenomenon. GEICO's icon slogan. Everybody knows this. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Represents another billion-dollar strategic insight. The power of combining multiple value propositions into a single compelling message. This brilliantly simple phrase addresses both primary customer pain points, the time cost of shopping for insurance, and the financial cost of the policy itself. It promises a dramatic improvement on both dimensions simultaneously. So, more importantly, this customer focused promise drove internal operations. GEICO designed its entire customer acquisition process to deliver on this dual promise of speed and savings. The application for your business is immediate. Can you identify the two most critical value dimensions for your customers and create a similarly powerful promise that addresses both? And you can then align your entire operations to deliver on that promise consistently. This alignment of external messaging with internal operations is what transforms a marketing slogan into a business defining strategic advantage. We are now at number 9, and it's called the perpetual presence. While many businesses chase the latest marketing trend, GEICO deployed what we might call a perpetual presence strategy, maintaining consistent visibility through multiple characters, messages, and channels. From GEICO to the caveman to Maxwell the pig, GEICO created a diverse cast of brand ambassadors that kept their advertising fresh while reinforcing the same core messages. This multi-character approach allowed them to maintain perpetual presence without message fatigue. For your business, this suggests a powerful alternative to the typical campaign-based approach to marketing. Instead of periodic pushes, could you create a system of consistent, varied touch points that maintain perpetual presence in your customer's mind? This strategy requires thinking beyond individual campaigns to create a sustainable system of visibility that never stops working for your brand. All right, now we are at the last strategy, and it is called the marathon management model. Finally, this is GEICO's success. It demonstrates the extraordinary power of leadership, continuity, and talent development. So Tony Nicely, who joined GEICO in 1961 and served as CEO from 1993 to 2018, exemplifies what we might call the marathon management model. Under his leadership, GEICO policy count grew from 2 million nearly 16 million. Warren Buffett called him one of the greatest managers I have ever known and a model for all managers. This leadership stability provided remarkable consistent in strategy and execution. Unlike companies that change direction with each new CEO, GEICO maintained unwavering focus on its core advantages decade after decade. For entrepreneurs and investors, this raises profound questions about leadership, development, and succession planning. Are you building an organization that develops talent from within and creates a continuity needed for truly long-term success? Or are you creating a company dependent on any single leader, including yourself? One pattern that I recognize is that every great organization has leaders and develop leaders. So here's the takeaway, okay? I just revealed 10 explosive strategies from one of the most successful business transformations in American history. Strategies that built a $30 billion insurance empire and created immense wealth for investors such as Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, smart enough to recognize their power. But here's the truth. Knowing these strategies isn't enough. Implementation is where the real value lies. And that's what exactly we deliver on every week on Dynasty Designers. Okay, these strategies are actionable. That's why I always try to create or have not just the case study, but also how it was implemented in different area, in different businesses, in different industries. These are proven strategies from the most successful companies that you can immediately apply. So if you found value in today's episode, hit subscribe and don't leave this to chance. Make sure hit the bell also. You never miss another strategic blueprint that could transform your business or investment portfolio. Don't miss the next episode because I'm going to be revealing some amazing counterintuitive principles. But if you enjoy this, I'm going to make a link on the screen. It's going to have a link on the screen. It's going to be the top 10 strategies that Coca-Cola use, or the top 10 best strategies that See's Candy use to grow their empires. So click one of these, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and see you on the next episode.